We are live and welcome everyone. It's time for Confidence Strategies 101. I'm Carmen Milagro. I'm your host. I'm a confidence strategist. I'm an entrepreneur artist, and I just love spending my Tuesday evenings here with you. It's just really lovely to connect with you each week, and I really appreciate those who come in and come back time and time again. It's really this special sort of project that's kind of taken on a life of its own. It's really a platform designed to share with you ideas and tips and advice, but it's really about people's stories and how we are inspired by people that we take the time to listen to their stories, and we start relating with different people. It doesn't matter, where they come from or what the walks of life, whether they're entrepreneurs or an artist or a designer. All their stories are so important because I always walk away from this experience learning something new that either I hadn't thought of or I just hadn't experienced before. So I learn through my guest stories, and I hope that you do too. That's really, in a nutshell, what Tuesday night's Confidence Strategies 101 is designed to do. We want to inspire you and help you through the week. Sometimes we all need a little bit of help, and we don't know where that help is going to be coming from. As always, we love it when you like and comment and share the videos. We're on our Facebook page, which is the group page, Confidence Strategies 101. We're on YouTube. In fact, I know for a fact that someone very special and very dear to me is watching today. Hi, Jade. Thanks for tuning in. I know she's watching us on YouTube, so I just had to give a little shout out. What else? Tonight's webisode is, as always, sponsored by Music City Hit Factory. We're not in the studio today simply because right now, with the way that things are with the coronavirus and just the uptake in the different cases and what's happening, it wasn't really an essential trip for me to go across town. So I decided to come back to the original source of the show, which is my library, my office. So, that's the beauty of the digital age. We get to be nomads. We can work from anywhere. We can broadcast, work from wherever we have Wi-Fi. And it seems like my Wi-Fi is doing pretty well in this room. This week, or last week actually, you met one of my mentors and my advisors and one of my dear friends, Anita Telle. And tonight's guest is the lovely soul who introduced me to her. And for that, I'm always forever grateful. Tonight's guest is Rosalidia Dubon. Now, Rosalidia believes all of us can live an abundant life. And her passion is to help us tune into our innermost self and balance our energies to develop a strong foundation that supports a blissful life plus a successful career. So how does she do all that? Rosalidia is the founder and CEO of Live and Thrive California, a media platform. She's a marketing and a business consultant. She's our resident marketing queen, as well as the founder of Elevate. More than just a co-working space, it's a lifestyle here on the peninsula. She's also a Reiki practitioner. She's an advocate for women's and children's rights. She's a loving granddaughter, and she's a mommy of two incredible little ladies. Rosalidia, thank you so much for joining us today.
And that was an amazing introduction. I'm so glad we're recording this so I can replay it over and over again. For those times when my confidence drops, I'll just re-listen to your intro right now. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm glad to be of service because it's funny that you said that because I think that is sort of, I think we'll just start right there because it's such a great point. I think sometimes people think when you're a confident woman that you don't have the lows, and that's not true. For whatever reason, I think every single one of us at some point in our life, in our month, in our week, in our day, sometimes we get a little low on self-confidence. What do you do when that happens to you.
And yes, I don't need my cheerleaders every day. I don't need my tribe every day telling me how awesome we all are. I can do that on my own, and I'm really thankful and blessed that I can do that. But as a matter of fact, since you asked, I shall say I'm very big on this is sacred here. So I like to just clear out the space, clear out my mind. It helps me just get in a deeper state of mind and connect with myself. And so that's how I boost myself up.
That's great. That's so good that you have that in place, right? There's a lot of times where people don't know, women particularly don't know what to do when they're on their own and they're just having that low point, and I think this is exactly what I was talking about, is that we learn from our guests. Maybe that'll work for someone else as well. Right. So thank you for sharing that. I wanted to say, I know, well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you again for taking time out of your family time. And I wanted to say thank you to your family for allowing us to steal you for a little bit, because it is, it's after hours, it's dinner, it's, getting the kids to sleep. And so I do want everyone, especially in your household, to know that I really appreciate that you get to spend this time with us.
Thank you. I'm sure my 9-year-old is watching us on YouTube Live. So I'm sure she's excited. So
thank you.
We're not really away. So thank you, Carmen.
It was funny because before we went live, you and I were talking in the virtual green room, and sometimes life is really funny. We have talked about doing an interview together, you being the interviewee, right, several times, and we just couldn't come together to make it happen. And this time around was so funny because I thought I had emailed you all the information. I thought we had set the date, and I hadn't done any of that. But we're here.
Yeah.
I think we're just manifesting it. We've been talking about it. So how do you feel, when you're not the one asking questions?
I love it.
Oh, good.
I'm relaxed. I can speak from the heart. So when I host my shows and my workshops and everything that I'm also doing and interviewing, it's my mind is working. And so I don't want to miss questions. I want to make sure that everything, the experience for the guest, right, is the best. And so I'm always really tense, although I try not to portray that.
You don't look it. So that's a sign of a pro. I would love to start with having you share a little bit about your childhood. I know your story, but every time we talk, or every time I hear you tell your story, there's little things that, I didn't know. So if we could share with everyone, and I think one of the reasons why this is so important, because there are so many of us that are bicultural or even have lived in different places, have dual citizenships or whatever. So there's a lot of people, I think, that are a lot of women that will be able to relate to this. You were born here in the US and you were partially raised in Central America. So you weren't raised here the entire time. So what was it like for you as a little girl being raised in two countries that are so completely different, two different languages, everything? Like, what was that experience like for you as a little girl?
So all I knew growing up was Honduras, because I was sent out there with my grandmother, I believe when I was 5 months. It keeps changing all the time, so I don't even know, but let's do 5 months. So that's all I knew. I grew up out there, and the community in Latino cultures, it's very warming. People on the street, they don't know you, but they still say good morning, good afternoon, how are you doing? They have the time to, chat with you. And coming here to the US, that was one of the biggest culture shock, is that here, if no one knows you, they don't say hi to you, they don't approach you. The culture is just completely different.
Sure.
And so I came back to LA from Honduras when I was 11. And so I remember it was actually, I haven't really talked about this, but it was actually more devastating because the day that they brought me here, it was, we were celebrating at school the Day of the Children, El Día del Niño.
Right.
in Honduras. So I was at school with piñatas and having a good time with my family. Oh, I'm sorry, with the kids.
Right.
And all I remember is someone saying, we have to go. I felt like I was just yanked from my family and my culture and everything that I really knew on such a fun day for children.
Right.
And next thing I know, for me, it's like a dream. One day I was in Honduras, the next day I was in LA. I didn't know anyone in LA. I mean, bigger city, right? I come from a smaller city.
Right, of course.
And so everything just changed for me. Then another cool experience that I had was my first day in middle school out in LA. I was wearing just a colorful dress and different shoes and different socks than the kids here were dressed in. And so that didn't sit well with the peers in middle school, or elementary, I should say. I believe it was 5th grade. And on top of that, I didn't speak English, right? So I had to take ESL classes. So it was just, the culture shock it was enormous.
It's traumatic.
Very.
It's traumatic. I mean, I didn't realize that you were 11 when you came back.
I think every time you learn a little bit
more. I mean, I can't, I mean, you and I have talked about this. I went into kindergarten not knowing a word of English, but I was 5.
Yeah.
So the level of trauma, in my opinion, you adapt quicker when you're smaller because you haven't had 11 years of a specific cultural experience. I only had 5 years.
Okay.
It's very different because, you're in kindergarten. I had an amazing kindergarten teacher. She used to tutor me in between her 2 kindergarten classes. So I never was officially in an ESL language, but that was because I had a kindergarten teacher who cared enough about this little girl who didn't speak any English. And during her lunch break, she was tutoring me. And so it was very private. It was one-on-one. I was like a little sponge. And so, yes, we have that in common, but I didn't realize, I thought for some reason you were much younger.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a correlation between the resiliency of a younger child versus you're almost a tween.
Yeah.
Wow. So, oh my gosh. Yeah.
So when I felt like during class, I would start vibing with the kids from my 5th grade. But then during lunch and during recess, I would split up and go into the ESL classes while everyone else would go and hang out with each other. Right. So it was harder because I felt like I was finally vibing with the kids, but then I would get split up during the times that I could vibe with them more to learn the language. It was, and then plus the food was different. It wasn't freshly made, right? Very fast food oriented out here. I had to take the bus everywhere. Whereas in Honduras, I mean, everything is local within 2 minutes distance. Right. The park, the schools, the banks, and the bus, everything was just a culture shock. And then the bullying too. I went through lots of bullying from 11 years old up until probably 15.
Boy, again, those really important years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but and I say this, and this is why I do what I do now. It's because nothing ever broke me down. I kid you not. I mean, it sucked that I didn't have friends. It sucked that I was getting bullied. It sucked that I was jumped a few times in Redwood City Elementary School, but that never really broke me down. I never feel sorry for myself. I never felt bad for myself. I don't even remember crying. For me, it was just like, oh, well, it is what it is. And so the work that I do now, I help women find themselves through helping them connect with other professionals in emotional and mental wellness. Because I always felt like if these girls that used to bully me, they had the love and support from their family and parents, if they had self-love, they would not be giving hate. It would just be pure love. and also kids, right? I love kids are my passion. I say also, I feel like my parents just handed me off to my grandmother, and I feel that if you're going to bring kids to this world, you need to be ready to provide them with the love and support that they need,
Right.
Which I wasn't given that either. And so for me, supporting women's causes and children's causes is very important to build the confidence in kids and women, just to have a more loving, compassionate world.
Right. Oh, I love that. And I really thought about this the other day because this conversation was also taking place. I forgot where exactly, but I thought your perspective was so different than I've heard from a lot of people. You know, your empathy towards the girls that were bullying you.
Yeah.
It's not the usual response that you hear. Like I can't recall actually someone looking at the bullies and feeling compassion and empathy for them.
Right.
And so I feel like that comes from that place of strength and confidence. And from what you're describing and what I know already about you, it seems to me that in spite of these challenges and not the greatest of circumstances, but there's this blessing that came out of this, which is your own wealth of self-confidence. And perhaps you wouldn't have had that had you not had the experiences that you had.
Really, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Do you think of other things about you, about your personality, about your sense of self that are also blessings from these things that you're describing? I mean, it's pretty amazing because I know for a fact every time you talk about this, I've never once heard any self-pity or any, poor me mentality. You state it, it's happened to you. You talk about it in a way that's very forthcoming and very direct, but without any of the self-pity and poor me thing. So again, to me, that speaks on your confidence level that you draw upon. Yeah.
And so with that, I think back to these times that I went through, and I never felt hatred. That's the other thing too. I never felt hatred for these girls at all. Not even looking back at it now, I don't hate these women. Right. I still think about them, and I still wonder, and I hope, I kid you not, I send them love, and I hope they're doing better in a better place. Right. That's where I come from.
Yep. No, and you're consistent. That's the thing that, that's what I'm saying is these blessings that this trauma and these challenges, you've turned them into blessings because you wouldn't be able to do the work that you do. You wouldn't be you.
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible because, I mean, I know you have a loving grandmother, you're a wonderful granddaughter. But again, it always has to come from within. Your self-confidence, no one can hand that to you. No one can teach that to you. So I love you so much and I'm so proud of you, but I've always said this and I've always felt this about you. It's really remarkable that you have been able to, you've beat all the odds. You are not angry. You're not jealous. You don't wish people, any ill will. I mean, you're pretty unique in this, I think.
And to be honest with you, I think that was one of the things that upset the girls, the little girls, right? Because they don't know how to cope with their emotions. And so seeing me be like that, I think just angered them more.
Well, and I don't think it's just little girls, to be quite honest. You and I have had these conversations too. There are just haters in every age group.
Yeah.
And if you're threatening or holding up a mirror to these women, because now we're going to talk about women who there are some women that seemingly have it all, right? They have wealth, they have loving homes and partners and cars and all you think,
right.
But yet they still have to talk about other women. They still put other women down.
Do you want to drop some names right now?
What? No.
I'm kidding.
No, because, well, there's a reason for that, right? For me, from my point of view, is I just don't want to give that any power.
Totally. No, yeah.
I don't think I'm as nice as you are.
Yeah.
I just don't give a shit. I just don't. That's on them.
Right. Yeah.
That's their problem. Like, I don't have as much empathy and compassion as you do. I think that's the difference.
Yeah. I just know, though their turn is coming. So
yeah, exactly. And I, it sounds kind of harsh what I just said, but I do mean it. I'm very authentic in what I say,
right.
But I don't wish them ill.
Yeah.
Either. I just don't think about them. I just don't think about other people's opinions.
Yeah.
And there's a certain freedom,
I think women, as a matter of fact, yeah. I mean, there's so many, my confidence is taken sometimes before I'm a bitch, right? Because I'm confident. And so
yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time, actually hold themselves back in a lot of things, whether it's business, love, or personal relationships, because they care too much about what others think.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, you're you, and you need to do what fulfills your heart and what you want to do and advance, whether it's in love or business.
Right.
But don't mind anyone else. It could be family, friends.
Right.
Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
And at the same time, don't put other women down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do what your heart, because I think sometimes there's conversations and you hear these things like, follow your bliss, or, just be you and do whatever you want. But there's another side to those comments. It's just do all of that, but don't do it at the expense of other people.
Right.
When someone's trying to help you, don't spit in their face. So I think that is, for me, that's just there's always the other side of things where I just feel like sometimes, you try to be a good friend, or you try to be a good mentor, you try to be someone for this other woman. And, sometimes you do get kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. I mean, you and I have both been through situations with friendships and colleagues and business partners. And it is what it is. Like you said, you got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
I know that, and knowing you the way that I do, I know that, again, the self-confidence that you exude that is consistent, it comes from within. But was there someone in your life that did help nurture that at some point while you were growing up, or was it all just from yourself?
No, I think it runs in my blood, to be honest with you. I come from very strong women.
Right.
My grandmother, super strong woman, very tough too, super tough woman. Now that she's older, in her 80s, she's suffering up a lot. In her 40s and 50s, super tough. Right. My mom is also a very tough lady. And my grandma's mom. I know I come from a lineage of very strong, minded and tough women.
Independent.
Yeah, independent. Yes. And it's funny because we're really short too. We're super short. And so the reason why I bring that up is because I'm so used to doing everything myself. And sometimes it's funny, as a short woman, I need to go through extremes to get to higher reaching areas. But, there's nothing I can't do around the house. You should see me.
I believe that 100% because I can relate to that statement. Hey, I just want to say real quick, thank you for Katerina Rozakis for tuning in, and David, thank you. Thank you so much for both of you for tuning in and watching, and anyone else that's watching, thanks again for being a part of this weekly chat. This is just where all the stuff gets broken down and we're just chatting. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and I think along the lines of what we were just talking about, is your lineage, right, is of strong women. Now you've got two little women that you are raising. Are you able to, or do you have strategies in place, like in the way that you're raising your little girls based on your experience, based on what you see, based on what you teach? Are there certain things that you want to make sure that your little ones, that you impart to your little ones?
My number one thing is kindness. I mean, I stress it to my older one right now because my 2 months right now, it can't really digest anything, right? So it'll be her turn very soon. But with my 9-year-old, kindness is the number one thing. She sees me feeding the homeless during Thanksgiving. I've taken her. She's helped me prep the food and the bags. I used to feed. I'm not doing it this year because of my baby, but it's a lot of hard work. But I used to feed between 80 and 120 homeless every Thanksgiving, and I've been doing that for 12 years. And so part of that, my daughter has been seeing all that stuff. We, for the holidays, we go volunteer at Toys for Tots with the firefighters in Redwood City. So kindness for me, it's something that she needs to know. She needs to take it from me. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, she told me that I needed to make more money so that I can make the homeless proud because they needed more from me.
Oh.
She said, "Mommy, you need to make more money so you can make them more proud."
I think it's working, what you're doing. I think that is, to me, I think a lot of people confuse kindness with weakness, and I think it's the exact opposite. I think kindness is probably right underneath love, as far as, for me, in my opinion. It's just my feeling. But the power of kindness, you can change the world with kindness and love. And I just think that so many people have forgotten that.
And for me, the way I see kindness, and actually the next thing that I was going to say, my strategy is confidence. So
you're on the show. There's a method to this madness.
My daughter has gone through some incidents, and so I tell her that if someone tries to get her mad and she lets them get them get her mad, then they are succeeding. Then they are winning.
Right. They have power over you.
Exactly. So the way to always know your worth and yourself so much, not to let other people get to you, and know that just by not caving in and allowing her to be mad, that's very powerful. And we never want to give our power away to someone else.
Exactly.
And so, keeping that power and the self-confidence and being kind are my 3 most go-tos.
I love that. Of course, I agree with you 100%. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like you introduced me to Anita, because we talked about this with her son and the way that she's raised her son. It's the same thing, is don't give away your sense of self just because somebody else has issues.
You're right.
And to me, that's the greatest sense of self-confidence that there is. And again, you can do all of this to be strong and remain who you are and know who you are, and you don't have to hurt other people to do that.
Yeah.
But you protect yourself, you protect your heart, because you deserve to be treated with respect from everyone else on this planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I just love the fact that that is like your 3 core things for your girls, because I think if every little girl was raised that way, wow, what a difference.
And that's my mission. I one day I want to travel the world and fostering these in kids, and also in third world countries, actually, is what's calling me. And it's because, why? It's because most moms, they don't have the knowledge, the education, the tools to show these kids self-empowerment, self-confidence, kindness. And so that's my mission, is to spread the love and kindness with kids throughout the world.
That's an incredible vision. And I can see you doing that because you have the platform. You're building the platform. You're building the arc, right? And I think it's, a lot of people do a lot of talk. A lot of people talk about all the good they do in the world, but it's really just talk.
Yeah. And it's funny, I was thinking about that the other day. It's like I like to go and do instead of talking about what I'm doing or what I am going to do. It's like I'm actually out there doing it and you don't even know that I did it, but that's because social media doesn't need to know. I need to know, and the people that I'm touching and getting need to receive that help, right?
Exactly. I agree 100%. You've said in some of the coaching things that we've done together, we are building a whole platform of, we want to arm women and startup entrepreneurs with some skill sets and tools based on our experiences and things that we've done. You have said in the, it was about a year ago when we had the retreat, the workshop that we had, a group of women, we brought them together. For me, it was the, as you know, it was like the interview process of kind of, who do I jive with? Who am I aligned with to work with in the future? Who do I want to work with in the future? And it was a great observation platform for me because, sometimes people are really great sales people and they present themselves in a certain way, but they're not truly who they want you to believe they are. And so for me, it's just like you, it's actions. I want to see people in action. How do they reveal themselves in time? And so it was a great exercise for me. But in that workshop, in that session, you talked about 3 different things. And I thought, or 4 actually. And I thought I'd love to revisit them with you now a year later and ask you, I don't know if you remember, but
okay.
But you said in part of your presentation, you talked about live with intention. What does that mean to you?
I don't remember that, but I can answer it. I don't remember.
See, I was paying attention. I was taking notes.
Oh, wow. Actually, to backtrack a little bit on what you were saying about it, what you just said is the thing is sometimes people don't know themselves. And they haven't really explored or understand themselves enough. And then they're out there coaching or marketing something. And so they get lost in the message because what they're saying with what they're doing don't go hand in hand. So I think it's more about they haven't found themselves yet. And they're out there already running. Right. Living with purpose for me is, for example, my purpose is knowing that I need to visit third world countries and feed children and give children the love that they need and deserve, clothe them, provide them the education that they need. So everything that I'm doing in this planet, I cannot leave without going into my mission. And so for me, everything that I do is having that in mind and having that intention that I know I will be doing that work in third world countries.
Right. I love it. And yeah, and that's, again, you know who you are and you're doing what you do. One of the other things that you talked about was you have to work from within to achieve success. What does that mean to you?
Once again, I don't remember, Carmen. Oh my God, pass me your notes. Those were really good notes. Okay. You said one more time, what was it?
You have to work from within to achieve success.
Okay, so for example, I teach marketing, and I first started teaching marketing with the Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center. It's a nonprofit all over the Bay Area. They have different centers here. And the way I would come and teach a course to their students is I would help them first find themselves in the mission of their philosophy. Actually, I call it their philosophy.
Right.
So what's your philosophy, your personal philosophy, and the philosophy of your business, so that you can start from within. And people would just look at me crazy. That was crazy. What does this have to do with marketing? I want you to tell me how to get clients. I want you to tell me how to build my business. Why are you telling me how to go find myself?
Right, right.
And so the thing is, if you're unsure of your mission, if you're unsure of who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, that's the foundation of your business and your life. So you can only reach so far if you don't have that in place.
Right. Exactly. That's, what's now I get it why you were so excited when I was explaining to you what I do
Yeah.
with, startup, first time entrepreneurs, people who've never been entrepreneurs, young people. These are my favorite clients to work with because they don't have any bad habits. They're not know-it-alls. They don't think they know it all. In fact, they're asking for help. They want to learn. And so for me, I think why you're the way that you teach marketing and what I teach about knowing who you are, what is your purpose, and why all of that. And I've shared with you the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And you were so excited about that. She's like, oh my God, you could do that. And I didn't have to do that.
It takes it away from me because the way I teach, it has to include that. If you don't know your mission, your philosophy, then I'm sorry, you will not last. And so I love what you're doing with your confidence strategies because you're already instilling that in their minds. So since we're building the Elevate platform with the Entrepreneur Bootcamp starting in spring 2021, you're already teaching that in women in the cohort that we're going to have. And so that way I can just get to marketing. Yes, we're going to get to the part that they came to see me for.
Right, exactly. And that's so beautiful because it's perfect. The third thing, because there's four, there's four. The third thing that you said was you must banish limiting beliefs to get a clear direction on life and career.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty succinct, but if you can expound on it a little bit.
So the thing for me is everything I say is reframing your thoughts. So the thing is, most people, there's a process, and I'm not a psychotherapist by any means,
right?
But there's a process, and when you're feeling something, when you're thinking something, when you say, when you talk, when you speak it out, and when things happen to you, it's all in alignment. And so what you think, you speak, and you attract. And so just being mindful with your thoughts and reframing things. So for example, instead of saying, this is just random, instead of saying, I don't have money, reframing to where an opportunity will soon come up. That's how I train my brain to stay on the positive, more mindful way so that I can speak that and I can have that happen to me because I truly believe everything's in alignment.
Right.
So just being more mindful and starting from within and knowing your goal, but reframing, try to catch yourself when you're being negative or when you're feeling stuck, just reframe so that you can manifest. I'm big on manifestation. So
and I was just going to say I think people forget that you can manifest negativity just as easily as you can manifest positivity. So you have to be really aware of the language in your head, what you're saying to yourself, how you're treating yourself, because that's all part of that manifestation process. And again, we're not therapists. This is all educational purposes. I always, with my trainings and my program, I always say that right up front. If there are deeper issues than what we're talking about here, then please seek the professional help from a therapist, psychologist, whatever it is that you need, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about helping you start or launch your business. All the other deeper things, if you haven't handled them, if you haven't figured out a way or have coping mechanisms, that is all going to affect you down the road in your business anyway. Yeah. So, but yeah, again, this is just, we're looking at this, and our conversations are about, how are we helping to elevate, support, encourage first-time entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, solopreneurs, young people who maybe hadn't thought that they could go into business for themselves.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's really important to make that clarification. The fourth thing that I took away from all the work that we did last time in November is you said your mantra. You said your mantra is this: Your mind is your strongest asset. Reframe your thoughts to manifest your reality. Is that mantra still true today?
Yeah, definitely. Everything, I'm super careful, super mindful. Hi, Veronica. I can see now who's popping in.
Right. Thank you all.
Hi, Dr. Kat. Oh, most definitely. I do, like we started it in the beginning, we started saying how we also might not have all these great days where we're not all, always so confident. And so I do find myself, the key here is knowing when you're going down the slump. You need to know yourself so well, first of all, to know when you're going down the slump, and to know not to let yourself get so deep where you can't come out from.
Right.
So catch yourself right when you're feeling, let yourself feel down, but catch yourself and go back up. And start with, I do gratitude every morning. I have my spiritual beliefs, and I pray to these deities and gods, I would say, every day. And I do the gratitude rituals, and I do several things, like I showed the sage earlier. And so these all keep me in alignment to manifest the life that I want to live.
Right. And I love what you said, Rosalidia. I think it's really important. You said, let yourself feel what you feel. And I think that's so important, because I don't believe in burying my feelings. I am, right? But and even though I could be devastated by something or hurt by someone, I do feel what I feel. I don't sugarcoat it for myself. I'm not talking about what the world sees. I'm just talking about my own personal process. If I'm angry, and I allow myself to feel that. If I am hurt, I allow myself to feel that. Even if I feel sorry for myself, I'm going to allow myself. I acknowledge that that's what it is. I'm going to feel it for a little bit. And then it's like, okay, now what are you going to do about it? For me, this is my process. I can't stress enough. Everyone should have their own process. I hope they have their own tools, their own mechanisms, their own coping skills. But for me, I've never not allowed myself to feel what I feel in the moment. And sometimes I can't. I mean, if something devastating were to happen right now while we're in the middle of the live, I would like to think that I have the coping mechanism and the skills to contain it, get through and finish what we're doing. And then, if it's a breakdown moment after we're not live, I'm going to feel it. But I don't want to, for me, what's very different about that is I don't want to reside in those negative feelings.
Right.
I don't want to live there.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to deny myself, or talk myself out of feeling a certain way when that's how I feel.
Yeah. And I think the way I cope with that too is knowing that this is going to pass very soon. This is going away. It's not permanent. And nothing's permanent. No, not at all. And so with everything that I've been through in my life, once again, nothing really breaks me down now. But when I do have those moments, I know it's going to be temporary, and tomorrow or in a few hours, I'll come out stronger or feel better, and it's all going to be fine. And I didn't die. I'm still here.
Exactly. I wanted to ask you this, if just kind of switching a little bit, getting more into the business side of things. But I just always love talking to you, because I love how we can cover so much of the different arenas and different aspects of things. But for the entrepreneurs and the startup folks that are tuning in, or that will be, doing the watch parties or people sharing this, when we talk about you're the marketing queen, right? And so, of course, I always go to you. I how frustrated I get about certain things. I'm like, I need help. And you're always so calm, and you're always so wise, and you explain things in such a way that I actually understand everything. So thank you again. But with your clients, what's your biggest pet peeve that clients do not get about marketing? What's what the reality is? You are a marketing expert, and what they think they know about marketing? Like, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind right away is budgeting. So there's a spa here in the area that asked for my help, but the way she thinks about marketing is she says, she calls it, I already wasted so much money, and I already wasted so much time. I don't have more time or more money to dedicate to that. And you cannot have a business if you think that you're wasting time or money. As a matter of fact, you should reframe that and say investing.
Right.
Because when you invest, you get things in return. When you waste, it's one side. You're not getting anything in return. It's going out the trash, the door.
Right.
So the budgeting is one thing that I've seen many business owners or entrepreneurs wanting to launch their business, but they don't understand that for a new business, it's at least 30% marketing dollars that they need to spend to be seen, to be visible, and to have their products or services be known. Once they're already established business, that's only 15 or 10% budget in marketing that they should be spending to attract more clients. Another thing too that I can't even wrap my mind around it when they tell me these things, it's I already have enough customers. There's no such thing as having enough customers. Let me tell you why. People get sick. Have the means to buy your products or services. People move out of the area and they might not be able to buy your products or services. People find better deals with other brands because you haven't created that brand loyalty. So you can never have enough clients. And that's another thing that I wish I could get in their heads and kind of shake them a little and have them wake up.
Right. I'm going to add, these are fantastic. And I'm so happy that you are verbalizing this and talking about this. But I'm going to add another one because this one I've encountered and it just drives me bananas. And this is the reason why I love working with first-time entrepreneurs and young people more, because when you run across people that think they know it all, and then why did you hire me? Why are you even talking to me? If you are so great at what you say your marketing efforts are, then you wouldn't even be thinking about talking to me. You would be rolling in it. You know, I mean, so I'm always kind of like, interesting. Okay. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I stay away. And actually, I think those clients stay away from me just because I'm so energetically recharged that I only attract those that have the same mindset. So we're able to actually work together and make a difference in their business. I have had several people that want to get a quote from me. And so we have a 30-minute discovery session. And I say, yes, I've done that. That's already done. It doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. But you don't understand the way you've done it in the past didn't work. The way I'm trying to help you to maybe redo the same thing, but with my way, my strategies is different.
Exactly. It's like, it's about building relationships. You can be the celebrity in your head all you want. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, if the people in your community don't even know about you, then it's a problem. It's a problem for your business. Hey, I just want to say real quick, hey, Tommy, thanks for tuning in. Tommy is on the East Coast, and Tommy was one of our previous guests. So good to see you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in.
It's like 11, 12.
Yeah, I know. He's a musician. He's an artist. So this is early for him.
Well, it's an honor. Hi, Carmen.
But yeah, I mean, there's just, and I love what you said is you're trying to set goals and accomplish things for your clients in the way that you do it, because what they've done hasn't worked. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, there is a huge, huge opportunity that people are completely missing the boat. And I know, and I think you were the one that may have shared this with me. And it just resonated so loud and clear. in this day and age where we are right now in 2020, in the way that whether you're a musician or an artist or any type of other entrepreneur, happy Thanksgiving to you, Tommy. Everyone is glued to their laptops. Mm-hmm. That means the majority of their communication with the outside world is Zooms, emails, social media. Remember how we all switched over from getting, mail, snail mail, and we all rushed over to social media because that was the new thing. Mm-hmm. But it all gets old. We were tired of snail mail back then. Mm-hmm. So many people are actually excited to get a piece of written mail. Yeah. A handwritten card is like the new way to communicate, because this, and we're doing this live stream, but this is getting old. Yeah. So from a marketing perspective, what better way to capture either your immediate client base mm-hmm. or new client base by doing something really cool and marketing to them in the old new way. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it requires a budget, right? You can't be cheap about some things. Yeah. And that's, I think, your point. Speaks to your point. Yeah.
I mean, I have so many things to say about what you just mentioned. Wow, the virtual world really is really so impersonal. I really dislike it. I can't wait to get back to the in-person connections. Yes, I'm glad I'm able to reach higher places where I wouldn't otherwise. But I'm ready. I'm ready to get off the Zoom and have my events like I used to, connect with all these professionals and brands and our audience, right? Yeah.
There's a lot.
What's kind of funny to me, and this, I don't know if this is in context still or out of context, but have you seen the Amazon store that are developing? Yeah.
You mean like on social media?
No. Amazon, physical Amazon stores.
Oh yes, yes. I know what you're. I think I know what you're talking about. Thank you, Tommy. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
So what I'm saying is, everything, the big money making companies, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, Google, they have taken us from this. Amazon, I feel like it's one of the biggest causes for all these small businesses going out of business, because people are wanting to buy online instead of going to the store and buying it because it's more convenient. And so it's really funny to me that Amazon has put all these businesses out of business, and now they're actually bringing physical stores into our neighborhoods. And so this is what the bigger players, Zoom, they're taking advantage of. They know what to do in these cases, and they know how to make money, eliminate the competition, and keep us reeled in, because we're here, we're having to communicate through Zoom, so.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of that whole, yeah. Who is your best ideal? We talked about what drives us crazy, the pet peeves, right? But who's your best ideal client?
That's a good question. I believe I want that person to know who they are truly from within and know why they're doing it. That's the person I want to work with. I like to work with starting entrepreneurs who have the money and the growth mindset, mm-hmm. and or with entrepreneurs who have been in their journey for at least 2 years, because now they understand the pains of starting a business, and they don't look at me like I'm crazy when I'm saying different things or campaigns or budget. Right. So they're already experienced it and gone through the growing pains themselves. Mm-hmm. And so I like working with those entrepreneurs.
That's okay. That's good. What's the, we've been going through, what is it, 9, 10 months? I've lost count. Right. COVID-19, this pandemic that has completely, changed the way that we live, the way that we communicate. But what's the greatest new thing that you've learned about yourself as a mom? So this is a three-part: as a mom, as a marketing coach, and as a human being.
That I've learned from COVID.
From this experience of how it's just changed, everything has changed for us. What are those things? Or you can answer one or two.
It's a tough one being a mom. I would say I totally enjoy having my daughter here doing the online school.
Yeah.
And she loves it as well. And to our benefit, she doesn't really miss the interaction with kids, because actually kids are very noisy to her. And so it stresses her out. So she's a lot better.
She's thriving
in the comfort of her home. Yeah. Still participating online, but not being distracted by other children.
Their energy.
Correct.
Yeah.
She's very sensitive to kids' energies. And as you know, most kids are hyper. They're doing things that they're not supposed to well in class. And so all that used to bother her. She would tell me that before. So for me, I've experienced the COVID online class, and we love it.
Yeah. And so that's new. You didn't think that you would, maybe.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the best thing is that she's very independent. She has her alarms, and she knows when to go back to work or when to stay away from the computer so that she can work on her own. So she's very independent, so I don't have to be on her. And she's very smart too, so I don't have to really help her at all. So
yeah. I wonder where she gets that from.
I don't know. And business-wise, I've totally pivoted with everything that I've been doing. And so it has me rethinking, reframing, repivoting everything. So I'm glad for that in the business world.
Yeah. Good. I think, I know that you have to get back to your family. But before I let you go, I'd love to do this quick draw. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to just pick a few other questions that it's not overthink. Like you just, whatever comes to your mind, whatever it is
first.
Yeah. You're so funny. You're not drinking vodka. Although that's not a bad idea. So it's just really, really quick. Like just like getting to know you in a different way. Some of it is,
okay, hit me.
All right, here goes. What's your favorite meal?
Indian food.
Ooh, anything in particular?
Oh my God, paneer, but it's super fattening.
What word do you absolutely loathe?
Oh, word. I don't have, or I can't.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you had a chance to have lunch with one of your heroes, dead or alive, doesn't matter, historical person or whatever.
Mark Cuban, can you hear me? I'm here. It's a big
Okay, that surprised me. I would never have thought that.
Who would you have guessed?
I would have guessed someone like a woman, but I'm not sure which one. But I would have to say probably like Oprah. That would not have surprised me. Mark Cuban surprised me, but I can see it. I understand, like, knowing you a little bit, I get it. I get it. Okay, let's do one more. Ooh, okay, this is a good one. What 3 words does your daughter most often use to describe you?
Describe me. Interesting. She used to be more verbal and vocal. Now that she's getting older, as you were able to chat with her earlier, she was a little more timid.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So she's getting more timid as she's growing.
Yeah.
So she's not really vocalizing, but she's kind. She refers to me as kind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I think loving and caring would be the three,
Oh.
But I haven't heard him. That's why I'm having such a hard time. Hey, Jade, I know you're watching. You need to tell me more things more often.
She can type it in on the group page. We'll find out from Jade directly if we can. That's pretty much it. I really enjoy this so much. I'm so happy that it came together, even though I completely spaced on emailing you about it. But you saved me. Thank you.
I love the spontaneous questions, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I
try
to
make stuff like that.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Because it just kind of opens up. I know that we could talk for hours upon hours, but I'll let you get back to the family. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Before we go, though, before you sign off, before I let you go, how can people get a hold of you? Where can they contact you if they are looking for the marketing queen to work with?
Funny thing that you say that, because now that I changed my username on Instagram to Marketing Queen, if you were to search marketing on your Instagram page, I will come up.
Oh, good. Then I'm going to have to do that.
I'm learning strategies that I want to share with you, and then maybe I'll share with the audience too. So you can find me on Instagram, Rosalidia, ROSALIDIA_D. That's on Instagram. Or on Facebook, Rosalidia Dubon.
Okay, great. And thank you again for everyone for, just making your comments and being engaged with us. Veronica leaves us with this. She describes you as brave, kind, and humble.
Aww.
You might want to take a screenshot of that.
Aww. Yes, wait, can I?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thank you, Veronica. Aww. I feel the warmth.
Oh, good. Well, this was so fun. Thank you. We got to do this again.
Yes, let's do it. I'm serious.
Too long. But thank you for all your insight. Thank you for being so honest. And, just every time I talk to you, I learn something new. It's no joke. And I really appreciate it. I love the way that you can articulate what it is that some people may struggle with or what they don't see. And hopefully, if they're watching this at a watch party or the replay, that maybe some of this will sink in as well, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help. At the end of the day, that's really the mission for this weekly show. So thank you for spending the last hour with me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Tell everyone I said hi. Big hugs to Grandma and the baby and everyone, and Alex. Tell them I said hi.
Thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yes, and don't forget, any upcoming events and you can post them all on Confidence Strategies, our group page.
Will do.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you. Bye. Bye. And thank you all so much. I hope that you learned a little bit more about what marketing is supposed to do, what it's supposed to be like. And we were very fortunate to have Rosalidia Dubon, our marketing queen. She is our resident expert. She is my friend, my colleague, my business partner, and someone that I learn from every single time I talk to her. It's just the wealth of information and knowledge that she is willing to share with you all is incredible. Again, the Tuesday night webisodes would not be possible without the sponsorship of Music City Hit Factory. We love having you. We love sharing this information, all the information. Make sure you look at some of the previous shows like Tommy Grasso. Tommy and I had a great time with his son Grady. We were talking about music, and Dr. Katerina was on. Veronica, you are still going to be on here at some point. We have talked about this, so we just have to set the date. I love this. To me, this has become a very special hour every week. I look forward to it. I look forward to having conversations with the comedians that come on and the authors and the visual artists, because everyone's story, to me, there's nuggets of inspiration and pops of confidence. Next week, it's going to be a little bit of a different show. Next week, I'm going to review some of the past pops of confidence that we've been privy to from different guests. But I'm also going to do a very short, not in depth, but just to give you an outline of the confidence strategies process from the very beginning. So if you are looking to find out how to create your personal pitch, how to tell the world who you are in less than 5 seconds, I'm going to walk you through a modified version of what I go through when I'm working with young people, when I'm working with different organizations. So that's pretty much the second to last show before the end of the year. And then we're going to go on a holiday break. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. And I'll see you again next week at 7 p.m. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and we will continue to evolve. But more importantly, we will continue to thrive together. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Bye-bye. And yes, you come with your crown for when we do our show. That's perfect, Veronica. I'm going to hold you to that. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.